Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ben and I'm a photographer and videographer based in North Wales. If you saw my last video, you'll know that I've recently purchased the Fujifilm X100V and I'm very happy with it so far. So as it seems to be the done thing with X100s for some reason, I've already added a few little mods to this camera to make it a little more user friendly and more akin to how I would use it. So to start off, you may have noticed these small round loopholes that I'm using on the side for my straps. These are actually off the Allen keys that you get with any Peak Design product. You'll always get a little Allen key, standard size, and there's a small hole in the Allen key which they have these little round keychains on. So in the box with the Fuji you do get the standard sort of triangular ones, but I just thought I quite like the round ones, so I took them off the Allen keys and stuck them on here. Talking about Peak Design, I of course got a strap. Some of you may know that in the past I used to use one of these Peak Design straps. I think they're called a leash. This is their sort of standard one, or certainly used to be. Really nice design. It's almost like a sort of seatbelt material. Nice thick padding in the middle, and of course they connect using the Peak Design anchor system. Now I love the Peak Design system using the anchors and whatnot, but I thought that this strap was a little bit overkill for such a small camera, so I ended up going with their smaller leash strap. As with many of their products, you get a little drawstring pouch with it, which is handy in case you don't want to use it, and the whole thing wraps up into a tiny little package. Now this one uses exactly the same anchor mechanism. The anchors themselves fit on very easily and don't really get in the way or anything if you're using it without the strap. They can jangle a little bit, but it's nothing that annoys me too much. And then that gives you a nice lightweight strap which you can easily carry around on your side all day. I remember that's the entire reason I bought this camera, so that I don't have to carry all of my big heavy Sony gear around. So that suits me perfectly. Next up, and it's a little bit uncommon these days to see, but the shutter button on the X100V is actually a slightly older design which has a thread inside it. It's a little bit, what's the word, not loose, but has a little bit of play in there, and it can be a little bit hard to decipher where it might be. So along with many others that I've seen out there, I decided to get a little tiny shutter button which just has a tiny little thread on the inside with a small rubber O-ring as well, which you very simply screw in to the shutter button. You'll probably switch it on by accident while tightening it. There we go. But then that just gives you a much nicer, more comfortable experience really while shooting, and it's far easier to find as well. Future Ben here. I only had about 4 items to talk about and I completely forgot about one of them. So, batteries. So I went exactly the same route as my Sony spare batteries with newer. I got this little dual charger with 2 batteries for about £15–20, and it does the job absolutely great. You can charge either through micro B or USB type C, charge 2 batteries at a time, and they don't seem to perform any worse than a genuine battery. So yeah, batteries. And then finally, weather sealing. From Fujifilm you can pick up a weather sealing kit, which is basically a little adapter ring and then a filter which sits on top and stops any water or moisture from getting into the lens system. You can botch this yourself. You could just put a small filter in reverse over the top after taking the outer ring off, but this lens does retract while it's focusing, so there is a chance that you could be damaging the lens as it hits that filter. The Fujifilm system costs almost £100 for essentially a metal ring and a filter. Now I was initially looking for hoods. You can get the basic, I think they're called JJC, most of them. I have had a hood off them before for one of my old Micro Four Third lenses, and I'm sure they do the job just fine. But that is just a filter and will not actually weather seal it. Some of them you can get with a filter that fits inside it as well. But I'm just not really a big fan of how they look. I was quite interested in getting a square shaped hood. There is a company, I think they're called Square Hood, who pretty much specialise in square hoods for Fuji X100s. But again, they're pretty expensive. But then as I was researching what different people were doing to try and sort out the hood and weather sealing solution, I came across Nissi. Now I could not find many videos on these at all, but I love it. So we'll just take the outer ring off. There we go. In the box you do get a nice little protective case which houses the filter. And notice that I did say filter there, because this is a one-piece solution. It is both a hood as well as filter. So this very easily screws onto the front of the camera. So this is now weather sealed. It's got the filter right over the front and it acts as a hood. And then the other thing that really drew me to this filter is that you can actually still fit the original lens cap straight on top. A lot of those other filters, they came with little black flaps to push in the front of the hood or something like that. It's all a bit weird. But with this one, I'm using the original hood, which is pretty nice and sturdy. Fits snugly on top, that's not going anywhere. And it doesn't look much different to how it did originally either. If anything, it just looks like a hole has been cut in the hood and the filter put there to replace it. I'm really happy with this one. The colour matches pretty nicely. This, obviously the silver one, you can get them in black as well. And yeah, I think it looks really nice. So that is all that I've done so far with my X100V. I am very interested potentially in getting one of the grip adapters, especially after shooting Sony full frame cameras all the time. Compared to this, there is not much of a grip to actually get a very good purchase on. So I'll see how I do after a full day shooting with this, and then that might be something I'm looking into next. Really, considering the size and weight of this camera, it's not so much of an issue, but we'll see how we do. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I hope you enjoyed it and possibly got a couple of tips from it. I'm very happy so far with this camera. I just need to get out shooting with it some more now. So if you want to see more videos like this or anything to do with the X100V, do be sure to hit subscribe down the bottom corner down there. Give this video a like if you liked it, and if you've got any questions or comments or maybe other solutions to some common issues, then do leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Otherwise, thank you again for watching, and until the next one, be good, stay safe, get shooting, and I'll see you in the next video.